Hey guys and girls of YouTube land, it's just me, Jamie. You'll notice I did not do an intro for this video, probably because I'm just too tired. I've got too much going on, but it's been a while since I've given you guys an update, so I feel like I kind of owe that to you now, and I'm going to get back to doing my videos because I am back on my journey to lose weight and to be healthy and be back where I need to be. But first things first, I wanted to share with you the news. So this is Phoenix Jean Clifford. It is 1:05 in the morning. Normally right now I'd be getting into bed. This would be her last feeding and we would be getting into bed and going to sleep. She's a really good baby. She sleeps through most of the night. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but when I found out I was pregnant, something that was really important to me was breastfeeding. So for you guys that don't care about that, or if you're worried about TMI, I'm sorry. I'm a woman. I just had a baby, so you kind of have to get past this part. There's going to be some TMI in this video because it's more of a mom / bariatric mom video. One of the things that's really important to me was breastfeeding for Phoenix. With my first daughter, I wasn't able to do that. Part of it was me just being naive and thinking that it was just going to happen, and being 21 years old and not really knowing what to expect from my body and what I needed to actually do to make things kind of work. Sorry for all the movement. I don't know where my tripod is, but anyway. So long story short, I had the lactation consultant come in at the hospital. I was exclusively breastfeeding for the first 24 hours. The problem is that she started to get dehydrated, so I was really concerned about that. I was eating, but my restriction came back full force as soon as I had her, so it was really hard for me to eat anything. And I don't know if it was partly because of the pain medicine that they had me on for my spinal block, or if it was just my normal restriction. I do tend to get full fast still now. I'm back to eating the amount that I was before I had her, or before I got pregnant with her, but I can still eat more than 4 ounces. Just really depends on what I'm eating. This morning, for example, I had 3 asparagus wrapped in bacon, and 2 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese, and that filled me up, and I was satiated until, gosh, I didn't have time to eat, so I was really hungry. But we went to the store at I guess 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon, and I had a Premier Protein shake then. So, but that's a different story. So anyway, I was eating then, and I wasn't really producing enough for her. So I came home from the hospital. At the hospital, they had me start giving her 10 to 15 milliliters of pre-made formula. Sorry guys, my hair's all over the place. Pre-made formula, just so she wouldn't be dehydrated. And the lactation consultants kind of got after me for doing that, but you have to do what you have to do for your baby. So that's what I did. Came home, and she just really had a hard time latching, and I was exhausted, and my boobs are kind of big, so I was really concerned about falling asleep with her on my boob and suffocating her, because she was so tiny. She was 6 pounds 1 ounce, and then she went down to 5 pounds 8 ounces at the hospital. And so it was really touch and go for a while there with her being so little and my boobs being so big, and I just really did not want to hurt her. That's my main concern. So my decision was that I was going to pump. I have my own pump that my insurance gave me. It's a Lancino, and I had bought the Freemy cups that go in your bra, and then I also had a Medela that a friend had given me, and then my sister had her Medela that was a little bit more new, and it had all these different parts to it. So I had options, and I came home and I started pumping. The very first day I was home, I wasn't pumping at the hospital. I was strictly breastfeeding and bottle feeding. I feel like I like the idea of breast pumping because I can see how much she's getting. but I was getting maybe 2 ounces a day. I think one day I might have almost gotten 3, but that's the most I can get in a day. And that's how much she eats in a sitting. So when she's eating, you know, what? She eats every 2.5, 3 hours max. So she's not eating just 2 or 3 ounces a day. She's eating a lot. I'm not even going to attempt the math on it right now. I'm just feeding her when she's hungry at this point. We've been through some battles with that. And so I was eating and eating and eating and not paying attention to my calories when I got home, which is fine because I'm breastfeeding her. I don't really care about my weight, but I wasn't eating anything that was nutrient dense. I was just eating a bunch of crap, which calorie wise is great. Whenever you are calorie restricted, if you eat junk food, it is obviously giving you more calories, which is wonderful, but it's not doing me any good for her. So, anyway, long story short, I was getting 20 milliliters max every time I pumped. I was getting distracted, or just not distracted, but I was getting frustrated because here I am every 2 hours to 3 hours pumping, and all I'm doing is pumping, and I can't really hold her when I pump because the pumps are in the way. And she would get frustrated, and I would get frustrated. It was just really hard to have a routine for that. So I decided, I think Tuesday or Wednesday last week, that if by Friday I wasn't producing more milk, because the lactation consultant said it would take about 3 weeks for everything to come in full force, that I was going to quit. That was 4 days ago. And for the first day, I think I pumped 2 or 3 times, I think. Second day, after, I think Saturday, I don't think I pumped hardly anything. I think I pumped once or twice. Sunday, I didn't pump anything. I think I hand expressed some. And then Monday, which was yesterday now at this point, I think I squeezed my boobs a little bit just to see if anything was coming out, and I was still getting quite a bit. Now, I did forget her formula when we went to my sister's, so while my sister was at the grocery store getting some emergency formula, I was breastfeeding her for about 20 minutes. Now, how much she got out, I have no clue. It didn't fully satisfy her, I know that, because as soon as we got her off my boob, she was good for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then she flipped out and wanted more food. So I know I'm still making milk, but I'm not making hardly anything. I tried to pump about an hour ago, and I got 5 milliliters, I think, if that. I don't even think I got that much. So one thing that I did do, this is going to be kind of a long video, guys, but one thing that I did do is I got this stuff called Let There Be Milk. I tried it for a few days, and my supply did seem to go up a little bit, but not by much. It does have other stuff in it besides just fenugreek, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm just not doing it right. It tastes horrible. It's really tastes like crap, but I'll do anything to get my supply to go up, honestly. I will try anything at this point. So what you do is, well, what I've been doing is I take a shot glass, and I have my Crystal Light that I drink because water just doesn't taste good right now. So I'm doing my sugar-free Crystal Light. I do a little shot glass of the Crystal Light with like 5 drops of this, do a quick shot, and then guzzle down some more water behind it because it tastes really bad. So anyway, my milk supply has gone down quite a bit. Even though I had originally decided to not do this anymore, I'm feeling really guilty about it. So I think I'm going to try to not really relactate, because I haven't stopped lactating, but up my supply again. So I'm not really tired right now. I slept late today, and I know it sounds really crazy to have just had a baby and say you're not tired. I'm used to not sleeping, so I guess it's not a big deal. But I'm going to do some meal prep tonight because obviously I do want to lose weight. I was 255 the week that I had her. I'm not sure what I weighed the day that I had her. I just know that's what I weighed when I did my last office visit with my doctor. And then I was down to 234.8 this morning. So I've lost weight. And that's just, I've gone back to eating keto. I know that they say that's not good for your milk production, but I'm still eating carbs. I like this tonight. We had butternut squash, like noodles, and we put spaghetti sauce over that I made, and meat. And then I had, Caesar salad, and then I had garlic bread that I made for my family, and I let myself have a couple of pieces. I think I had 2 small slices off the loaf, and then I had a third when I was walking around the house just kind of snacking. So I did have that. I made for those of you that follow my channel, I made my Cool Ranch Dorito Parmesan chips, and I made some more ranch dip. So I did that. I went out and bought some of the Atkins and Premier Protein like snacks, the lower carb ones. I don't do the ones with the higher carbs like the cookies and stuff like that. It's just a waste of carbs. I have my Premier Protein shakes that I'm doing. I at least do one of those a day. Excuse me. One thing that tastes really bad, but I've been doing it anyway up until today, out for the last few days, of course, is this. It's Booby Body. It's specifically for nursing mothers, to up their supply. So I'm thinking what I might do for breakfast is do one of those. It says it's plant-based and you're supposed to use water, but I just can't make it work with the water. So I might just have to choke it down with the water because the milk seems to kind of upset Phoenix's stomach. She seems okay so far with everything else I've been eating, but anyway, I have been adding like cream cheese and whatchamacallit, red velvet cake mix to like the sugar alcohols to it, just to give it a different flavor. It doesn't do much for it, but if I just do 8 ounces, I can just choke it down. Maybe I can do that and eat something behind it. I don't know. But there's that. One thing that I've really been craving is vegetables lately, and even before I had her, I wasn't really craving them. Like I would eat broccoli and cauliflower, but for the most part, I wasn't really wanting vegetables. And of course, I like bell peppers and jalapenos and stuff like that, but that was the extent of my craving for vegetables. But we went to my sister's. Before we went to my sister's, we've been doing this thing called Butcher Box, and it's freaking amazing. It's like $240. You get an entire month's worth of meat. They give you steaks, they give you roasts, they give you ground beef, they give you chicken breast, they give you chicken thighs. You can even get bacon and pork products. We're not big pork chop people, but we love bacon. I tell you, it's grass-fed beef, grass-fed chicken. It's all organic. It's amazing. It's totally worth the money. And because I'm not having to go out to the grocery store and buy meat, the only time I ever have to go to the meat department is if there's something specific that I didn't order from Butcher Box that I have to go buy. So it makes my shopping trips a lot less time-consuming. I love them. If you guys want to check them out, this is not something they've asked me to do a review on or anything. It's just something we do. I love them. It's called Butcher Box. And you can get cheaper packages too, but $240 is what we use. Sometimes we even end up, like if we go out to eat or something, or if we go to eat at my in-laws' house, we'll end up with food left over at the end of the month. It's a lifesaver. So anyway, back to the vegetables. But I was craving asparagus because we've been doing steak a lot, and steak and asparagus tastes really good to me. So I went and bought a bunch of that. But then we went to my sister's on Sunday, to do pictures with the baby and my niece and Scott and Hannah and I. And when we did those, she made us roasted chicken and vegetables. And I've never really been a squash or a zucchini person, just because, now I'll eat it, but I've never really been one to like it. I think I'm more of a texture-based person when I eat, so it just never tasted good to me. But these vegetables she made, holy cow, guys, they were so good. So what I'm doing right now, since I can't sleep and I'm just stressed about breast pump stuff, I'm going to go ahead and try to make some of those for tomorrow so I can lunch on those with my my lunch. I think for lunch I'm going to do probably tuna. And then I'm going to have those same roasted vegetables with some sirloin steaks that Scott and I have left from our butcher box for dinner. And then I'll probably have like a Premier Protein shake for a snack or whatever. In fact, what I'll probably do is have Premier Protein shake for breakfast, and then I'll have probably like an egg or something with it just to add some normal good calories for the baby, or some asparagus or something, or I'll just have a couple of roasted vegetables, whatever. And then for a snack, I'll have the Boopy Body crap. Anyway, it tastes really bad, but if it's gonna help me up my supply, I will do it. And then I'll probably take a nap, but I do need to go to the vitamin shop tomorrow. I'm gonna go buy some fenugreek vitamins or supplements or whatever you want to call them. That is supposed to be like the number one thing that everybody says helps. Whether it does or doesn't, it's left to be determined. One thing I'm going to try to up my supply is I just started my master's program, guys, so sleep is really important to me, but feeding her is more important. And I know that she can get everything she needs from the formula, but there's just something in my head that's telling me I need to breastfeed. So I think that's what I'm going to try to really do. I'm going to give it one last really good shot. And I think one of my big downfalls is I'm getting off on a rabbit trail, but one of my biggest downfalls is I was falling into the fact that she's a really good sleeper at night. And so I would go to bed at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. She might wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock for a bottle, and then she would sleep until 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning sometimes, if we would let her. So it's hard because, you know, as a new mom, you want that sleep. There's sometimes you're just in such a sleep deprived state, that you can't even think straight. You know your baby needs to eat every 4 or 5 hours maximum, and you know, you don't even think about that when you're half asleep. But I'm just gonna have to make a more conscious effort, even if it means me having to sleep out here in the living room so Scott can sleep for work, because I only have we're almost in February, so this is the last, I think we have 2 weeks left in January, and I have to go back to work in April. So yes, it's a really awesome maternity leave, but that's a different story. So again, the pumps I'm using are the Medela. I think it's the InStyle. Let me look. I have 2 of these because a friend gave me one and my sister gave me the other, so hold on. It is InStyle Advanced. So that's what I've been using. It works really well. I really like the Lancino. The problem with the Lancino, and my sister said she had the same problem with the battery pack on the Medela InStyle Advanced. But the battery packs, you lose suction. It's not as strong. So for someone like she and I, and she had the same problem pumping as well, she couldn't make enough to give the baby what she needed. So it's kind of a trade-off. I really want to be able to have the freedom. Like, I was really kind of psyched out about losing weight. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. I can really start losing weight. I can do this and that again. And then there's just something in the back of my head that's like, you need to do this. You need to make yourself do this. She's my last baby. I got my tubes tied during my surgery for my C-section, so I'm not having any more kids ever again, unless we adopt. So she's going to be the last baby that I get to do this with. So there's just something in here in my head that's just telling me you need to enjoy this while you can, because you're not going to get to do this again. So I am staying hydrated. I went to Walmart and I found this really awesome insulated cup. It's 40 ounces, and I drink minimum 2 of these a day. I probably need to drink more, but I don't know. I know with bariatric surgery that Premier Protein counts as hydration, but I don't know if it still counts that for milk production for breastfeeding. So I really need to get a good lactation consultant. I don't know if my insurance will cover it, so I need to find that out. But For sure, I definitely need to try to up my milk supply again because I just really want to make this work. Even if it means me going to just strictly breastfeeding instead of pumping, so that I have that freedom. But I do want to pump now just to get my supply back up. Part of my plan is every 2 hours, I'm just going to get her to latch on, or at least try to. I'll have a bottle ready for her in case she doesn't latch, and just go from there. That way she doesn't have anything that she associates with a negative feeling if she doesn't want to breastfeed. So, because she still wants to latch sometimes. Sometimes she's perfectly fine. We would have just fed her. She'd have been changed and nothing's hurting her, but she's screaming like she's hungry. I'll put her on the boob and she calms down completely. So she does still want to breastfeed, but she doesn't do it for more than 10 or 15 minutes. And I think it's because she's not really getting anything after that. I was power pumping before I stopped pumping. In power pumping, what you do, for those of you who don't know, is you pump for 10 minutes, you wait 10 minutes, you pump for 10 minutes again, you wait 10 more minutes, and you pump again. So I was switching boobs back and forth, and then I would combine the milk and go from there. So it was an hour at a time that I was pumping. Really, about 40 minutes, maybe 50, but I'll round it up to about an hour. So it's really time consuming. And in most cases, women pump for, 20, 30 minutes max every 2.5 to 3 hours. So I think that's why I was so overwhelmed. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the 20 minutes every 2 to 3 hours and just deal with that. It does take sleep away from me, but it does give me an excuse to get up and do some homework while I do it. I have a lot of coursework to do for my master's program, so I might as well do as much as I can before I go back to work, because it's going to be really difficult when I do go back. I don't know how I'm going to make it work, but I will figure it out. That is my update for now, guys. Again, my current weight is 238.4 pounds. I was 195 before I had when I got pregnant with my daughter. So I do have about, I will say 40 pounds to lose. And I'm still not done beyond that because I still have my goal weight to hit. I didn't actually get to hit my goal weight before we got pregnant. So the good thing is, because I got my tubes tied, that's not going to be an issue anymore. I don't have that fear. I can just focus on losing weight. Another good thing is, because I have this newborn, it's going to be really hard for me to eat. So I'm going to be very reliant on meal prepping, which is what I'm working on right now. So I'm going to go make my roasted vegetables. My plan is to do asparagus and zucchini, and some carrots. Maybe, I know carrots have carbs in them, but just to add some color to it and to make sure that my family has them to eat as well, because that is something that we're going to be doing together. I have to give kudos out to Scott. Just a heads up for you guys, he and I did get married in October of last year. Yay! And he's been amazing. He gets up with the baby if I need him to. If I have homework, he keeps her the entire night and he'll take her to bed with him, just so that I can focus on what I need to focus on. If I need a break, he gives me a break. He's been cleaning all of the bottles and all of the pumping supplies. I very seldom have to wash anything, unless he's just been out working, because he's got this entire system set up for me. So I'm so grateful for him. He's been an amazing dad. My first child, my daughter, Hannah, I'm not trying to speak bad about her father, but he was just not involved at all as far as the pregnancy. I think he went to one doctor's visit. He was at her birth. And beyond that, other than him driving me to get what I needed, he didn't do anything for her. I was 100% there. I wasn't working, he was working, so I let that be my reason for him not being involved. But I never knew that guys did this for their wives or their baby mamas. So it's just really nice to have him do what he's been doing. So kudos to Scott. So big thank you, babe. But that's pretty much it for now, guys. I will do an update later. I'm sorry this is so long. I didn't really have a plan for the video, but I will have more coming your way as soon as possible. Thanks so much. Bye.